My name is Darryl Francis, and my occupation is screenwriter. My nickname, my family name, and my neighborhood name is Baby Frenchie. My daddy was Big Frenchie. What was it like growing up in the crack era? Well, that was in the early 80s, and during that time, I was a high school student. The effects that it had on the neighborhood, I really wouldn't really focus on that, you know what I mean? But when the crack came into my home.
You're featuring Darryl Francis, a screenwriter, who discusses growing up in the crack era and how it affected him, his family. He shares some anecdotes about how his family dealt with it and how it was really hard on him and it's particularly hard on his sister and his mother. He also talks about how he went to jail for a murder robbery that he didn't commit. But going to prison actually ended up being a saving grace because it jolted his desire to write screenplays. And also, he credits it to saving his life because it removed him from the environment that he grew up in. So I just thought it was very interesting for this short doc to touch on so much of this man's life. And it just made me more interested to learn more about his work.
I love the in-depth interview of the successful screenwriter. The questions asked of him were excellent, bringing him to give the viewer an in-depth look at his life, his family, and the motivations for him becoming a screenwriter. Clever idea to add both black and white photos of him and his family and black and white video footage. The film is an inspiration to aspiring screenwriters everywhere. His life growing up was really challenging, and he even found himself in prison unjustly. But he worked hard, found his passion, and was able to succeed.
Dives into a moment that changes your life forever, and also diving into knowing your worth and going as far as it takes to succeed. We have this gentleman who grows up in a drug setting, and this leads him into prison. And he says this in the docu short here. If I had not landed in prison, I might not be here today. And while he was there, he discovers a passion for screenwriting and storytelling. And as he gets out and starts to build his new life, after doing time for a wrongfully committed crime here, we find that LA magic that exists in the air here, and he ends up getting connected with a manager, which ends up leading to him to sell a script for $100,000, which is the dream, to be an artist and to succeed. And going through so much struggle and finding triumph is just a beautiful story to watch.
This starts and it drops you on a moving train and you're off. I loved the interview, listening to him talk about his life and the challenges that he faced and the things that he saw and went through. Some of that was really, really hard to listen to, but I think that the filmmakers did such a great job. I loved how they added in a lot of the old photographs to tie in the people that he was talking about, the experiences.
A very inspiring profile, because you've learned so much about this man's life and a lot of the hardships, and at a certain point you would expect him to give up. You would expect him to fall in line with what the system wants him to be, and the fact that despite all of that, despite the fact that he had to deal with such a bad hand and he refused to let it define him, the fact that he refused to become what the system wanted him to be, and the fact that he managed to still succeed at the end of it all, that is very awe-inspiring.
The main message here behind is definitely just never give up. Keep chasing your dream, keep following your dreams, because one day you might get there. It might not be today or tomorrow, in a week or in a year, or even like here in the film for 20 years in prison. But maybe in 21 years' time, that's going to be finally your moment. And I think it was very touching and moving, and I really love the fact that he found his way out, he found his freedom through screenwriting, through films, which is what we do. I really think that this is it, the power of movies.
Great start to this film with stock footage, some black and white for memories, stuff like that. It just has that very unfinished quality about it, and I'd like to know more and see the completed film when it is done, because this feels like it's a great start. This feels like just him talking is a great sizzle for a full documentary.